Buda, inakuaje Jones? Kofiti?
Mimi niko fresh sana.
David,
vipi?
Mambo.
Niko fresh.
Kwanza ningepea Mgenge2ru hiyo kwanza, hiyo zawadi yangu kwanza. Fresh.
Hii ni dream come true
ndio. Inakuaje?
Dream come true manze.
Pleasure. Inakuaje?
Niko fresh.
Tuko ya Amerika manze.
Manze.
Huku US.
Huku ndo US sasa.
Huku US. Wanasemaga US YUES. Huku US.
Huku US.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, it's a pleasure. Imebidi nipige digaga muda niko na mahala zingine.
Ni pollen season yani.
Pollen so,
yeah.
Naongea na nani kwanza unajua since nasikia vifani ma allergy who am I talking to? Mgenge2ru mwenyewe.
Mimi naitwa Oriko.
Yeah.
Naweza sema the easiest way to communicate na mimi ni David.
Okay.
Lakini sasa professionally mimi ni Dr. Oriko.
Dr. Oriko.
Dr. Oriko.
Pleasure. Ndio maana nimekama hapa nasikia hivi umenipatia matembe hapa nimepiga allergy nini mambo iko sawa. Yeah. Interesting. We practice in Maryland.
Yes, so saizi niko attached University of Maryland Medical Center.
Okay.
Huko ndo na practice sahii niko path ya residency orthopedics.
Yeah.
Previously before that nime practice Kenya, KNH. Kisumu District Hospital.
Yes.
So sahii niko hapa.
KNH, Kisumu District, sahii uko Maryland.
Yeah.
What is residency? Can you explain it?
So residency back home tunasema MMed.
Okay.
Ukishamaliza med school, unafanya internship 1 year, unakuwa medical officer. Then from medical officer unaweza decide nataka specialty gani. Kuna watu wanaenda orthopedics, kuna watu wanaenda general surgery, kuna watu wanakuwa gynecologist.
Yeah.
So hapo in Kenya tunasema umeenda specialization. So umeenda kufanya MMed, Masters in Medicine.
Okay, Masters in Medicine.
Yeah. So huku America wanaita residency. So unakuwa attached to a hospital, alafu wanakutrain.
Okay.
So they train you in whichever specialty umematch.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have to be under a specific specialty that you specialize on.
Yes. So for example mimi interest yangu ni surgery. So ukikuja hapa kuna process ya kumatch.
Okay.
Kuna vitu unafaa kufanya, kuna board exams unafaa kufanya.
Yeah. So wait, so your transition from let's say Kenya to US.
Yeah.
Ukifika hapo unapiga from scratch, like your experience in Kenya did not qualify you to start immediately in the US?
It's yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no in the sense med school is med school.
Okay.
Meaning umequalify when ni daktari. Lakini sasa you have to realize you're going to a different system. Or kuna different requirements.
Yeah.
So for you to practice here, lazima ufanye American board exams.
Okay.
Ni kama ukienda Kenya, lazima uende through KMPDC, then KMPDC wakupatia license ya kupractice.
Okay.
So that's the equivalent of American board exams.
Okay.
So unafanya American board exams, then kuna sasa system ya kutafuta specialty.
Okay.
Meaning sasa una apply for residency.
Yeah.
It's a national matching program. Una apply hapo, or una get interviews ukiwa lucky and depending on how you present yourself.
Yeah.
But sisi ni wa Kenya mazi.
Thrive anywhere
you can make it in Kenya.
You can make it anywhere. Kali, iko sawa. Hii blog yangu hii inaitwa stories za Jaba. Ni stories za Jaba mtaani ni stories za vako. Lakini mimi muita stories za Jaba because mutakawala kutoka mtaani wanapenda kusikia stories za vako. Wasikie story ya Mgenge2ru ya ukweli. Sawa. So thanks for come through yani kuoffer hizi insights. So mimi swali tu nauliza ni interesting nimeamua nipige hii interview na wewe because of whatever that is happening in Kenya, right? Experience yako na Kenya compared to here because you've been in both systems. What's your opinion? Let me just start there.
I think actually it saddens me.
Okay.
But I think especially this is more directed to young doctors.
Okay.
I think young doctors.
And definitely you have colleagues in Kenya.
Yes. I have very many friends who are still practicing in Kenya.
Okay.
And I have friends here. But this is more directed to the young doctors.
Okay.
So being a doctor is it involves a lot of things that you have to give up.
Okay.
The training is long. Una train 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Ukitoka hapo unaenda internship.
Yeah.
Na internship naweza sema ni iko
ndio uitwe daktari. Umepiga 7 years. Yani si hizi madaktari za kujekea, sijui dokta nani, daktari.
7 years. Then internship sasa uko on steroids.
Okay.
I think also it goes to say our history, how we treat people we think are junior. So the history of internship in Kenya is, even the consultants will tell you, we went through this, so you have to go through this.
Ile tulitoka chuo, ile umono.
Exactly.
Ni mono, ile system ya mono.
Utajua we ni mono, lazima uteseke.
Yeah. Instead of we went through this for you to, we crawl so that you can run.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that is, I hope that changes, and I hope young doctors are going to change that culture. But that culture destroys people. Okay. By the time you're done with the internship, unajiuliza kama ndio njia nataka kufanya, like, is this what I want to do, ama is this actually what I signed for?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Nilifanya internship yangu Kisumu.
Okay.
Kisumu District Hospital. Kisumu District Hospital, bed capacity around roughly 200.
Okay.
So as an intern, you're working every day. You're on call literally every day.
Okay.
So there's nothing like you're doing 5 to 9 weekends and when kazi.
Yeah.
You know, it's not normal. You're not doing a 40-hour job. You're working literally every day because you're the first.
As an intern.
As an intern, you're the first contact with patients.
Yeah.
So a typical day of an intern. Remember, ulikuwa kazi jana.
Yeah.
So think of it, ulikuwa kazi jana. So tuko asubuhi. So which means you were admitting patients yesterday.
Yeah.
So today, because you admitted patients, you have to wait for your consultant.
Okay.
Consultant atakuja, maybe tuseme Kisumu district consultant, some walikuwa wazuri, wengine didn't care about the intern.
And in the meantime, you got new patients as well. Like this.
Yes, at the same time, new patients are coming in.
Okay.
So a consultant akikuja 10, akikuja 8, akikuja 11, akikuja midday, lazima ukue hapo.
Okay.
So consultant akikuja, you take the consultant through all the patients you may admit, what you've been doing. It's a learning moment.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it turns out to be a bashing moment. Because it becomes a very emotional moment, especially if your support system is not strong. Most people crash through that system.
Okay.
You also remember the system is working against you. Labs haifanyi kazi.
Yeah.
Sijui radiology hawafanyaje kazi usiku.
Equipment.
Sijui equipment hakuna. But consultant akikuja na kuuliza, mbona hii x-ray haikufanywa?
Uko na pressure.
Mbona hii lab test haikufanywa?
Uko na pressure.
Uko na pressure excess.
Yeah.
And remember, you're the one also talking to patients.
Yeah.
So
delivering good or bad news.
Exactly. So unaongea na patients, unaongea na consultant, when face of the system.
Yeah.
Umemaliza na consultant ameenda. Remember, you still can't go home. Lazima tena wenye walikuja hii time asubuhi uadmit, uwaweke on treatment, upatiane plan ndio uende home.
Yeah.
By the time maybe utaenda home ni 3 p.m. But remember unarudi kazi usiku. So ukienda home maybe 2 hours, unasahau hata kukula.
Yeah.
Unarudi usiku.
Man.
Every single day until
that's the
internship iishe.
Yeah.
So at the end of the internship, you reevaluate if this is what you want.
Okay. And that's actually what they're fighting for. It's part of the fight, like interns, the payment of interns, how they're being paid.
So there's a big fallacy in government that interns are not doctors. And this, I'm sorry to say, it's being fueled by people who know better. And because I'm not in Kenya, I'll say names.
Yeah.
For example, the current acting DG, Dr. Moth.
Yeah.
I think he is the person who is supposed to be telling government the actual status of what is happening in hospitals.
Okay.
But huyu jamaa ameamua tu kumislead government. He has a vendetta against interns. I don't know why.
Okay.
And the way the minister is talking, anaongea ni kama hawa ni the interns. They talk. You see, the word intern is used in a way to demean junior doctors.
Yeah.
Because they're asking, these are people on $1 million salary, asking why an intern is earning 206,000. Mtu ametoka shule jana, mbona earn 206,000?
Yeah.
So the political class hawana goodwill towards junior doctors.
Okay.
Because in Kenya, ideally, the way it is, the political system wanafaa wakuwe na the good things, nyinyi mbeg.
Yeah.
So they are wondering why junior doctors are earning close to fully licensed doctors. And by fully licensed, I don't mean interns are not licensed.
Yeah.
They have a license to do internship at a specific hospital.
Okay.
Wakishamaliza wanapewa sasa license ya practice anywhere in Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
So explain to me, interns in Kenya and huku US CNAs.
Yeah.
CNAs huku, are they on the same level? CNAs huku ni nurses, right?
Yeah, so...
Are CNAs doctors?
No.
Are nurses doctors here? Are CNAs more or less more like interns? Please explain to me.
No.
Who are CNAs here compared to our system?
So internship in America, so we go back to the residency.
The residency.
So residency is designed that your first year of residency is your internship year.
Okay.
That is what is considered internship here, upper.
Okay.
So that is the year you learn the hoops in the system. You learn how to communicate, you learn how to talk to attendings, you learn how the system works, people welcome you are attached to a mentor, you get to know how to talk to patients, you get to know, your interests. Sometimes people make changes. Anasema niliingia kama nataka kuwa a surgeon, but through my internship here, nimegundua I can't be a surgeon.
Yeah.
So let me change and be something else.
Yeah.
Which is good for the system, because if you know very well you're not going to make it as a surgeon, then the system gives you a leeway to change into what suits.
Is adjust.
Unaweza adjust. So that is internship.
Hold the thought.
Yeah.
Check make sure na record. Tunaweza kwa tumepiga hiyo story yote na imeleta ufala. We're good. Yeah, so that's internship.
That's internship. CNAs, so the nurses are just nurses. They're not doctors.
So ni manas tu kama manas wa Kenya.
Kama manas wa Kenya.
Kazi yao tu ni first responders, ukiingia OC emergency au ndo nakushughulikia, just the normal things the nurse supposed to do.
The normal nursing duties that they do.
And here they're paid very well, right? How to nurse?
The system appreciates everybody that is taking care of the patient.
Everybody that is taking
from
the first contract, from ambulance who down.
Exactly. So the system there is no segregation in the system where people think, mini daktari, I can't communicate to nurses, or mini, no. Because the primary goal is the patient.
Yeah, that's the primary goal.
That's the primary goal. So everybody works towards the primary goal.
Okay.
So the system kind of does away with segregation and classism and thinking you're better than... Because even if you're a doctor, remember the nurse is going to have more contact hours with the patient than you.
Yeah.
So there is no way you're going to think you're better in the system simply because you're a doctor. It doesn't work that way. So if you think about Kenya, the way our culture still is, most doctors don't have a very good communication skills with nurses. And vice versa. Nurses don't have a good communication skills with doctors.
Me niko na experience naweza kuambia, but I won't say it on camera.
Almost everybody has that experience.
Daktari fulani aliongelesha aliambia hii haitaja happen. Nikaambia lakini si mtu hata ukwaga tu msoft na venye unaambia patient kitu. Nikaambia anakuanga hivyo, nikasema ni sawa. Continue.
Yeah. So that's
so communication, hizo ni vitu pia unafundishwa.
Yes, you're taught how to communicate. Empathy. So I was telling you earlier off camera that for me coming to America, the one thing that has really, really made me think is not the technology, it's not the innovation, it's not the research. It's the idea that you have to have empathy before you treat patients. People don't want to be in hospital in the first place. They are coming to hospital because they are sick. And that is not an opportunity for you to show dominance and opportunity for you to shout at people when you're tero. Maze, patients wanapigiwa kelele Kenya noma sana yani. Like design ingine yani uwezi amini. And almost everybody who's gone through a
public wanapigwa manze pale
I don't know aslapiwa.
Yani kwani kuzaa imekuwa tena ni noma. Si bila za tu. Anyway.
Exactly. So this system teaches you empathy.
Okay.
So that is part of the training.
Yeah.
That you have to know you are not better than the patient. You are in the process of healing the patient. And that process has so many people wako aligned kwa hiyo process.
Okay.
So you're not any special in that process.
Yeah.
But you do your work knowing that what you're doing is part of the reason why the patient is going to walk out of hospital healed. That's why empathy is such a big thing.
Remuneration, like vile watu ukanjwa hapa. I don't want us to compare because it would be unfair because we're in a whole different economic system.
Yeah.
But what doctors are being paid here, is it attached to the patient? For example, mtu akiingia tu hosi, iko na ngori. Na ana kakitu.
Yeah.
What happens here?
So
is it attached? What's the remuneration iko attached to? Please, sijuko unaelewa swali nauliza.
Naelewa. So the way I'll talk about residency. The way residency is the hospitals run the residency system. So if you get a residency position in a hospital, say umepata residency University of Maryland ama John Hopkins.
Yeah.
So the government comes in. The government pays the hospital to train you. So out of what the government pays the hospital, they decide this is for training you, this is your salary.
Yeah.
So your salary is guaranteed.
Okay.
So during each time you're training as a resident, your salary is guaranteed.
Okay.
And I think that is one of the things we can copy back home.
Yeah.
That if you give people the peace of knowing that their salary is guaranteed, you will have better outcomes. Watu wataenda home wakijua mimi staki hizi wariza, nitakula nini, nitaenda home aje. That is catered for. And the hospital is mandated to pay you.
Okay.
So there is no hakuna history ya hautalipwa mara siji hakuna kitu kama hiyo. So that is part of the residency system that we can copy back home.
Okay.
But for us to copy that, it require a lot of intentions. And we have to be very intentional. But ukiwa na watu kama the current CS, ukiwa na kina Moth, yani it's sad to watch. It's literally sad.
I totally understand. Patient huko akiingia OC.
Yeah.
Emergency. Hauna kakitu.
Yeah.
Kenya kama una kakitu, my friend, Nairobi hospital hatukugusi. Buda pigieni familia yenu. Watu wafungue WhatsApp group. Watu waanze kuchanga. Kakitu itoke. Useviwe na mkichelewa dedi. What happens here?
So some of these things are guaranteed in law.
Okay.
So if you are in an emergency situation,
from a policy standpoint, if you show up in the ER, you are in an emergency. Ama tukiwa hapa tu sahi kitu happen, and we end up being in the ER. Mimi kama daktari, I don't want to know who you are. I don't want to know how much money you have. I don't want to know if you can put a deposit or not. Mimi mandate yangu tu ni treat. That's the only thing I'm mandated to do. And actually, if I don't do that, there are repercussions to it. Okay.
Because the law protects you as a human being. Umejipata ER, uko na emergency, I have to treat you. So that comes from a policy standpoint.
Okay. And umesema ni from a legal and policy point of view. Why can that, how is Kenya? Mbona isikuwa applied in Kenya?
I think, first of all, our lawmakers, they don't know their mandate.
Our legislatures.
Our honorables.
Honorable.
Our honorables don't know their mandate. They don't know how much power they have that they can actually affect change. There's this idea that change has to come from the presidency downward. But also, there's this feeling in the country that the parliament is captured, whoever is president decides everything. But I still think they can effect change and they can create policy that allows this kind of things. But I think that becomes the end of it, at the tail end. Because even if you bring that policy, the infrastructure doesn't support it. The human resource doesn't support it. So you have to have an infrastructure and a human resource that supports that kind of policy. So policy has to be aligned with human resource and infrastructure that supports it.
Interesting. Mtu wako jana ni baba pata. Nataka kubonga juu ya tech kwa medical field. But acha niongee from point ya muziki. Si muziki unakumbuka sisi tukianza ngoma. I think ulikuwa tusikiza from way back in the day. Hapa kwa na internet. Si atakuwa na YouTube, hii platform nataka kuweka interview. Si ilikuwa ni strong. Lazima tuko na the physical CDs. Nakumbuka CD kitoka manzee nikiangalia venye ngoma ikibaniwa kwa CD unajua unaweza kwa line.
You can see the line.
Hiyo kitu ilikuwa inanimesmerize. Voice yangu iko hapa, that thing like used to like really mesmerize me, and then we used to sell physical CDs. So mali game yetu imefika as a music industry, it's either you adapt with the new tech or you die. How is it on the medical field?
I think it's more or less the same thing. And I think advanced medical systems demand that providers, you must adapt with change. Or because the innovations that have happened that have brought all this change, mingi zimekuwa na very good outcome for patients. I don't mean all, but a lot of them have good outcome for patients. So adapting to that change is very good for the patients.
Na by the change yenu ni gani, mnaongea jua nini, masurgery ni upigaga na nini?
Yeah, like if you think about where minimal invasive surgery is currently, where patients have shorter hospital stay, aesthetics are good, the scars si kubwa venye ilikuwaga mtu alifanywa sana amechinjwa. So those kind of things, and those kind of things come through innovation and tech and also training of doctors. So the tech doesn't lag behind the training of doctors, or vice versa. And that's a good thing, and something we can copy back home.
So vituka robotics and everything, while you're doing the training, is that a separate thing you're trained on, or it's part and parcel of medical training currently?
It's all the innovations. It depends on the stage of where that innovation is.
Okay.
If something has gone through a system where it has been approved and it becomes something that has been shown to have good outcomes for patients, then it becomes a standard procedure.
Okay.
Then if you're training, you're trained on it.
Okay.
But even if you went through training before that system came by, you have a chance to come back and retrain on it.
Do people accept it?
Especially
kama watu walianza kitambo and then there's this new tech. Do people accept it easily ama kuna controversy? How is it on that front?
I think currently people are very receptive of new tech. Okay. Although at a certain point, people are very skeptical. Like, this is the way we know how to do stuff. Why are you bringing new stuff? And this is what I'm used to. But now, currently, with the generation of providers and doctors we have, and the people who've led the way, I think people are very receptive of new tech, and people actually are very welcoming of new tech.
Daktari, thank you for your time. Who nani huyu jo?
Who ni best yangu wewe Sophie
Ameti hata na mambo.
Sophie ameti mbaya.
Parting shot. Hii strike inaendelea Kenya. Do you follow? Unajua pia wewe ni mtu. Huko US umesema mimi niko US mambo ya Kenya ikwende.
I have people who are affected by the strike.
Okay.
I still have patients who communicate to me. Okay. They literally send me messages. So, and I'm a member of the union.
Okay.
So
uko connected.
Niko connected mbaya sana.
So ile tu kinagabaga, like what's going on? What is the strike about?
So,
and is it legit? And do they have a right to be on strike? What's your opinion?
So there's a misnomer about the strike. And the messaging from the government side is that doctors want more money. And that is so misleading. The strike is literally about a CBA that was signed in 2017. This CBA started in 2013.
What's a CBA?
It's a collective bargaining agreement.
Very good.
So that started in 2013 and was signed in 2017.
2013 with the previous government?
Yes. Okay. Then 2017 it was signed. And that CBA does not, they make it look like the CBA is about money. The CBA has so many things that the government has to put in place for a working healthcare system.
Bare minimums.
The bare minimums. Human resource.
If they care about the healthcare system.
If they truly care about the healthcare system. Human resource, infrastructure. How do you compensate healthcare providers, doctors to be specific? So currently, the doctors are on strike because the government has refused to implement the 2017 CBA. And it is sad that somebody like the CS is coming up with figures outside the CBA and just waking up and saying, interns can earn 70,000. And they're making it look like the doctors are making it about money. It's not about money. It's about that CBA. And actually, I think everybody should go and read that CBA. That CBA touches on so many things. And people should not just think the CBA is about money. And the doctors have a right to be on strike.
Yeah.
The doctors, just like any other workers, they have a right to be on strike.
Yeah.
And it is protected by the Constitution. So I support the doctors, and the government can resolve this as soon as yesterday if they want to. Yeah.
So question, how do you see it? Do you think it can be resolved?
For it to be resolved, for the whole thing to be resolved, I think the government has to. People need to stop lying to each other.
Okay. Because it's hapa nje tunataka kujua nini inaendelea.
Yeah. I think the government has to honor the CBA.
Okay.
The CS.
Wanasema ati hakuna kakitu.
Kenya could. I'll tell you something like the budget. If you look at the numbers, think about the budget being used in State House for tea, for example.
Yes.
Just tea only.
Yeah.
Think about the useless offices we have for spouses of. Tell me, in what country do you have offices for spouses of?
Gori.
So what that tells you is there is so much money.
Yeah.
It's only that the political class, there's this belief that the political class, they are special humans. They deserve all this money. Any other person demanding for better pay, anafaa kupanga line. Akuje political class kwanza, na apate hiyo pesa. And actually, this also goes to one of the things that I'm advocating for. It's high time for professionals to get into politics.
Yeah.
It's key. We can't just allow policy to be about seasoned politicians. It's high time for professional
technocrats.
It's high time for professional doctors, lawyers, engineers to get into politics and be in tables where all these decisions are being made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final question.
Yeah.
Your friends back home.
Yeah.
Colleagues. I don't know. Maybe it's a controversial question. If the strike is not resolved or the bare minimums are not met, I don't know. Would you advise them to take their skills, their expertise somewhere else? Because now kuna kitu tuna deal nayo inaitwa brain drain. Brain drain tunaitwa kwa country yetu, hata mimi na wewe sasa hizi tuko hapa. Wewe ni daktari, mimi ni msanii, naletewa gangori na mwenu nini huko America, wewe rudi ground. But America is working, lakini na rudi ground wewe.
So this is my take. Mimi nilizaliwa Ocha. I went to Boys High School. Then I did an undergrad at Moi University before I went to med school. So I had a long route to medicine. There's a point where you have a very small gap, especially if you're not from, a rich family. You have a very small gap for time wasting.
Yes.
And it boils down to you as a person.
Yes.
How long can you take time wasting from other people?
Yes.
The government is wasting your time. Are you going to accept them to waste your time and waste your potential? And I'm saying this from somebody who is very passionate about Kenya. But also I'm thinking about individuals. At an individual level. At an individual level, I think, especially if you're coming from a place where you can't have your time being wasted, look for alternatives. It's okay to look for alternatives. It's okay to think about other countries. It's okay to think about other professions. It's okay to think about alternatives to what is currently going on. Okay. And I'm actually actively trying to educate young doctors on how to transition to other systems. I have friends in the UK, I have friends in Australia who are doctors, I have friends here, and anybody can reach me out. I'll show you how to do it and how to transition.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question. You'll choose whether you want to answer it or whether you want that question back at me.
Yeah.
So you're here. What gave you the spark to come here or to be here? What was that moment that said or you decided about?
Actually, I want to answer that question.
Okay.
So this is me doing a CS.
Hold. In a record. Let's continue this.
This is me doing a CS. In the middle of the CS, for some unknown reason, we are using bupivacaine for anesthesia. We're doing spinal anesthesia. For some unknown reason, it wanes off and the patient starts feeling pain. And the hospital doesn't have any more bupivacaine.
Okay.
So I'm suturing. The patient is feeling pain.
Wait a minute, there's no more.
Imeisha.
Painkiller akwisha. Anesthesia.
Anesthesia drugs imeisha.
Hakuna gas. A dose.
Hata maneno ya gas usiongelee yani.
Okay.
So tumepiga simu Russia. Russia is the big hospital in Kisumu. Wamesema like all that bureaucracy before atuletee. Umejua patient ako kwa table.
Yeah.
So I was in a situation where I have to do this suturing as quickly as possible. Because should I let the patient bleed out? Or should I, what should I do? I mean, I catch-22. The moment I was done with that procedure and the amount of wailing that patient, the whole process of wailing, I was traumatized. And I knew at that moment I had to leave. And that's why I left.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Tumalize story. Mgenge2ru. Stories za Jaber.
Stories za Jaba.
Yo!